We are just 4 sleeps away now from the biggest Bills game in a generation, with the Ravens in town Saturday for a divisional playoff matchup. We mentioned yesterday the Bills are slim favorites, at least in Vegas.
Yeah, but the Ravens come into this one with wins in their last 3 games against the Bills, including, you'll remember, that close one last season. But these are different teams. Of course, none of those games were played in the cold weather and possibly snow that we're looking at as well. Yesterday, we talked with Vic Carucci from the Buffalo News about all of this.
But it is good to get an outsider's perspective as well. And joining us live to provide some perspective is Kim Jones from the NFL Network. Kim, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. It's going to be a great game on Saturday.
Yeah, Kim, it's great to see you. We said that an outsider's perspective, but you've seen a lot of Bills games this year. You were at the stadium this past weekend. We mentioned the Bills are the favorites here by a slim margin, but a lot of the national experts are picking the Ravens, at least from what we've seen. You know how the folks in Buffalo feel about this, but how do you see this game playing out?
Well, listen, I think it's probably going to be high scoring, and I think for the Bills, it probably has to be high scoring. I think 2 dynamic quarterbacks who, if you think about it, have more likes than differences at the position. And I know the greatness of Lamar Jackson and his speed and the idea that he can make a defense look silly in about a 6-second span going down the football field. But Josh Allen is incredibly mobile, as you all know. He's a playmaker in his own right. I think it's going to be fun because both quarterbacks have plenty of weapons to work with. Lamar loves his tight ends. Josh seems to love everyone on his side who's a playmaker. And certainly Stephon Diggs having as good a season as anyone could have hoped for. So, I think there's a lot to like on both sides. I do think the offenses will probably reign.
And Kim, we want to ask you more about Josh Allen. The Bills won last week on, his arm and legs. He's been incredible this season. It didn't stop when the playoffs started. After that performance, how do you see his chances in the MVP race?
I mean, I think you could make a case that he's an MVP as well as anyone in the league. Now, it often becomes a stats award, and we certainly understand Patrick Mahomes puts up incredible numbers, but you could certainly make a case for Josh, and that case, frankly, has been building, right? I mean, the Bills have looked tremendous down the stretch here, including in games that they, quote unquote, didn't need, but I think they gained a lot out of playing, specifically in that week 17. So, you look at Josh Allen. One thing I'm grateful for, and the Buffalo audience may be interested in this, is at NFL Network, the Bills are one of my teams, and I love that about them. So since 2018, when Josh was a rookie, I've stood in the locker room, and Josh has always been generous with his time when I've asked for it. So I feel like I've gotten to know him a little bit over these years. This year, of course, everything, including this, is, remotely, virtually, Zoom, that kind of thing. But for Josh Allen, I think to look at the growth, even from me as an outsider, to look at his growth, it's been absolutely remarkable. And an awful lot of people deserve credit for that. But I'm a big person when it comes to personal responsibility, and Josh deserves the most credit. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, I love that you shared that story with us. Western New Yorkers are big fans of Josh Allen, to say the least. We've got 1 minute left. Want to ask you finally, the Ravens are a team that runs the ball just as good as anybody else in the league. The Bills, of course, relying much more on the passing game. We heard the forecast there. We know there's the chance it could be a snowy Saturday night in Orchard Park. How do you see the weather impacting the 2 different offensive schemes that we're going to see going head-to-head?
Well, any of that would benefit Buffalo, right? They're used to all of this. The Bills players are hardy. They know what to expect. I'm not suggesting Lamar and company would simply shrink at the sight of snowflakes. That's not the case, but I think any weather would help the Bills.
Such a great conversation, but we have to leave it there. Thanks again, Kim Jones with the NFL Network, for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Kim. Go Bills. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Remember to keep texting us your questions or comments. 716-849-2200 is the number.